Welcome everyone, this is Andres Restart, and I am joined by my good friend, editor, and co-host at sometimes, that is Brandon. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Good. So, let me just quickly explain. I am recording this through Brandon's computer. We're doing a Discord call. I'm actually in a hotel room in an entirely different country, in an entirely different continent. But because Nintendo was on vacation, obviously Nintendo decided to announce the Mario Bros. Wonder Direct, so I couldn't cover it. So that's what happened. Exactly. But so the Mario Wonder Direct happened, and we want to talk about it. I saw it, even though I've been traveling, and we're pretty excited about it. So we're going to be breaking that down today. So if the audio sounds a little off, a little different, just keep in mind different recording setup. I'm in a hotel room, but we're going to talk about Mario Wonder. So I guess to just get things started, Brandon, what were your initial thoughts on the Mario Direct?
I really enjoyed it. I mean, Wonder is just the best name for this game because it just describes it perfectly. I feel like the name of the game here is to just throw as many crazy and wacky ideas at the player and always have something fresh and new, which is crazy for the series because I haven't been excited for a 2D Mario pretty much ever because I've been alive mostly through the new Super Mario Brothers series, which I've never enjoyed. And I like going back to the older games, but I haven't been really excited for a new one in a long time. But now, I'm actually excited for a new 2D Mario, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this too. There's a lot of different things I kind of want to talk about with this. But just to speak on the Direct itself, it was great. I think you made a great point about the Wonder naming. As I was watching the Direct, I got the exact same impression. When you think about the elephant transformation, the Goomba transformations, like all the Wonder effects, and then also the stamps they introduced that added another layer of power-ups, right?
Yeah,
so
the badges.
Right, the badges. Yeah, thank you. So you have your base power-ups, and then you have the badges on top, and they can get layered, right? So that gives you a lot of options. And then when you also throw in Wonder effects, there are so many different things that can occur, and you throw in the Yoshis as well. Like there's a lot of possibility, and then they show the different settings, and they show what's going on with Bowser. Bowser is apparently a castle now. He's actually a castle. So they're definitely going wacky with this one. We saw like some stages that were like in space, falling through the sky. Like there's definitely a lot of variety with what we're seeing here, and it's not cookie cutter, which is how the new Super Mario Bros. Series felt. Very cookie cutter, very copy and paste, very like, okay, you're going to have this kind of level, okay, you're going to have this kind of level.
Here's the desert world, here's the ice world, here's the grass world, basic stuff like that.
For sure. And we're still seeing, like, we still got the water world, we still have the lava world, but it's greatly remixed and changed around, and it doesn't seem like... there just looks to be a lot more variety, a lot more energy with the inspiration, the art style, and the overall direction. So
with it being set in the Flower Kingdom, the art style is very different. Like there's a lot of just crazy things. I'm just like, I don't recognize any of this stuff. There's a lot of things going on. It's very new, and there's a lot of enemies and stuff that were new too. And they showed some of those off, like the one that jumps along with you. But they showed a ton of them off that they didn't really explain. They were just there.
True. One that I thought was cool was the mummy, like just being able to unwrap it, and it's little things like that really are kind of giving this particular entry in the series a fresh breath of air. It feels like, and it's very exciting. But before we start to dive into some of the other details, I do want to talk about just like the potential implication or lack thereof of what this Mario Direct means for a future general Direct, because I do think that is at least somewhat of a talking point. Brandon, I think you and I are on the same page on this one. There's still a Direct happening in September.
Yeah.
There's always a Direct in September. This Mario Wonder Direct, this Direct wasn't even that long. It was, I didn't see a timestamp because I'm watching live on the plane. Yeah, I mean, it was sizable enough for what we needed for Mario Wonder. The Mario Wonder alone is not enough for an entire Direct. There's still other things that we talked about, like Mario RPG, WarioWare. Never mind the games that Nintendo needs to announce for the early parts of next year, which they always do with the September Direct. And there's also third-party stuff like Mortal Kombat 1, for example, that needs to get a showcase before it comes out halfway through this month of September. So there's still a lot of reason to expect a September Direct, and I'm pretty confident that they're probably going to give us a little bit more on Mario Wonder during that Direct too, because they want to give it that another additional push. So yeah, I mean, a Direct is still probably happening.
Although, just a side note, I do hope they don't show a ton more off, because as we were alluding to earlier, the wonder of this game and seeing new things is kind of, a lot of the experience. So I'm happy with what we've seen, and maybe a little bit more, but don't show anything too crazy more. I want to be surprised.
I wouldn't even mind if it's just like a recap trailer of what we know so far. I mean, I think they should probably throw in a few new scenes, but I don't need anything super extensive. If anything, I could even argue that by putting the bulk of the Mario Wonder information here, it allows Nintendo the opportunity to maybe have a big reveal for next year in the upcoming Direct and devote more time to that. But still putting in the reminder for Mario Wonder so that can be a star for this holiday. Yeah, so those are our thoughts. A Direct's probably still happening. But let's get back to the Mario Wonder stuff. So, something that was kind of a big talking point, that's been a big talking point about this game, is kind of the online situation.
Yes.
And a few months ago, like during the June Nintendo Direct, when they announced you took the website, there was some information suggesting maybe or maybe not online play of some sort. The way I felt it was worded, it felt implicative that there wouldn't be online play in the way we were hoping for, where like you could just jump on with, like, for example, Brandon and I live in different states. We wouldn't be able to play together. And from what I saw of the Direct, that is the case. We will not be able to play together in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
However, what they
showed...
to
do it.
You can sort of do it. What they showed is really cool, though. And it may even be the reason why they decided not to do that. Because I feel like you could still do both, but I'm not upset with what they've done. With what they've done is kind of cool. I've seen some people remark about how it's very Dark Souls-like, which I agree with. So the basic concept is you can kind of see ghosts of different players playing the game if you sign up for that, and they can even set up like guideposts or hint posts for certain areas, same way you can in Dark Souls, and you can even compete with them if you so choose in certain sort of designed guided scenarios. You can do races or boss challenges or trying to collect Wonder Seeds. So they threw in a very interesting dynamic to the online play. It's something I appreciate. I think it's actually really, really cool. I still think it's a head scratcher that they couldn't also include online local multiplayer, because they even allow you to create rooms with your friends. Like you and I can still play against each other with our ghosts. So there's still like some level of interaction we can do in real time, which is nice.
Very similar, because it's not like you can collide with each other in the local co-op like you could in New Super Mario Bros. Which is a good update, by the way.
Yeah.
But I mean, it will be pretty much the same. I'm curious how the latency will be, and I wonder if that's why it's not like directly integrated. Maybe it's just it will be a little laggy, and instead of wanting to do the Smash thing where they're trying to sync everything up so it's lagging constantly, they're just like, you know what, if they're ghosts, it doesn't really matter if they're fully synced or not, so we can just provide a smooth experience this way.
Yeah, my problem with I'm not saying you're wrong, we don't know, but it just seems kind of odd that would be the reason, because Super Mario 3D World, a 3D game running at 1080p last I checked, at 60 frames per second, had online play for 4 players. And I didn't play in that online mode, but I don't remember hearing any sort of issues with it either. So why would it matter for 2D Mario?
It's hard to say. I have heard
it's a little bit of a
have
head
issues with 3D World, but I've never experienced it myself.
Yeah, maybe they just wanted perfect smoothness. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe they just wanted to kind of keep it separate. They had this design idea. They thought it'd be fun to keep it separate, and who knows? Maybe we'll decide that the online offerings that is available with Mario Wonder will be worth it, because there is some of that, and we will play together. And I am glad it's there. I do think it enhances the experience. Yeah, I mean, and to tell you the truth, right? Like, it's not like I personally plan on playing Mario Wonder online if it was an option a lot anyway. But what they did offer does feel like a pretty nice single-player experience. It's enhanced with some subtle multiplayer options, which is they did use that terminology, if I remember correctly. They said subtle. So it's kind of cool, actually. And I think it's progressive of the Mario series. And actually, on that note, I noticed, there are some nice quality of life improvements, like as you progress through the world, you can move out, you can move openly, and you have some you can choose. It's not just straight linear. Which is nice.
In certain locations, or am I misunderstanding?
Yeah, I don't know if you can walk
they said
really
you
between
go
each world immediately.
These open sections, and they were clearly like paths on parts of it.
It seemed like you had like free movement in the little maps to select to kind of walk to your areas, which isn't anything too crazy. And there will still be areas that you will have to unlock through progression, but there's just some level of freedom there, which is nice. But the other thing that was nice is that they do still have like a menu system for the levels as well, so you don't have to walk back to do that. So it's kind of a merger. And I think it's the best of both worlds, in at least in that respect. So I really appreciate that. I think they're doing a lot right with this game, like a lot right with this game. It has me very excited. I even, what I found interesting is that the kind of difficulty options they offered, right? So pretty decent, like roster of characters, right? But the character you pick impacts the difficulty of the game.
Yeah, there's different tiers to it as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just one or two. It's three, if I understand correctly. So you have Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, and the Toads, right? And then, so they're like there's no differences between them in terms of gameplay.
Right.
They have the exact same stance and movement. Yeah, and they all turn to elephant, whatever. So all the theories about them being separate animals. Yeah, they're still elephants, but that doesn't mean they can't be other power-ups though. There may still I doubt they've shown us everything.
Oh yeah, and for sure they haven't shown us all the transformations with the Wonder Seeds, because the Goomba, I believe that was a Wonder Seed transformation.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. For sure. So, we're still. I'm assuming there's still a lot for them to show. But anyways, going back to the point, you also have the Yoshis and Nabbit. They brought back Nabbit, so it feels like Yoshis are the easiest tier. So when you pick them, you can't get hurt by getting hit, which explains that with the first trailer we saw those rockets and they would go through the Yoshis, but you wouldn't get hurt. But if you fall, you still can die. So there still is a threat of loss. It's not like you just go through with no effort. There still is effort, and you have better platforming abilities as a Yoshi, which seems to make the difference between them and Nabbit, who seems to maybe play as the other characters, but the difference is he is impervious to damage, same way as the Yoshis are, but can still fall. So there's a tier system there, and that is it's a little bit of it's unique. It's a different way of going about it. I don't necessarily hate it. One thing that I found really funny though were the Yoshis. Like seeing Elephant Mario get on top of Yoshi.
Yeah, he was struggling, cool. Bro. He was struggling.
Yeah. It's kind of building off the whole meme of like Mario like throwing Yoshi to the wayside.
For no reason.
Yeah. It's funny, and you can do that with your friend if you play locally, which is cool. So
what else is nice about the difficulty is, because like if I want to play with my younger brother, and I don't want him like constantly losing all my lives, he's impervious to damage. But if we're constantly falling down gaps, I could lose lives very quickly that way. But luckily, when you die, you have a few seconds as a ghost to kind of go back to a player or a stand, which you can help out people online this way. And you revive yourself, so your younger brother or sibling or whatever, they can fly over to you and get revived, and all your lives aren't getting drained because they're falling into pits. It's nice.
Yeah, it helps out a little bit. It's better than the bubble because it looks like you have a little bit more control, or at least it's more obvious control. So that I also appreciate.
Yeah.
So it's very cool for sure. But I'm just kind of thinking about this game. Like, is there anything else that I haven't brought up that you think we should talk about, Brandon?
Something I found really interesting is the game has an economy. You can spend purple coins on things. You can buy the stand-up things so that people can get revived. You can buy Wonder Seeds, and there were a couple other items you could buy as well. So the game actually has an economy, and I believe you can only get the purple coins when a Wonder Seed is active. I don't know if the normal coins will be able to be spent on anything, but at least those purple coins, there's a shop, and you can go buy things, and I like that.
That's nice. Yeah, it's nice that they've added that. So, like, this, I guess, you know, what the general sense I'm getting from this game is that there is a greater sense of depth and quality that we don't get with, and it's not that other Mario games don't have quality, but there's, like, just a lot of considerations in terms of quality of life stuff is what I'm really getting at. Plus this layer of gameplay with the economy system, as you brought up, with the difficulty options through the characters, which is a unique way of doing it, with the way we can explore and navigate the levels, and then just the breadth of gameplay options with all the wonder effects and the badges and the power-ups. Yeah. They're doing a lot here that's really impressive. Never mind the voice acting in the game, the animations in the game, the sheer variety. Like, I think this may be the best 2D Mario game ever.
Maybe. It's definitely going to be the best one in a long time. At least for me personally.
Yeah. I'm very excited about this. You know, minus the weird local online multiplayer sort of decision, it seems like they've put together something really brilliant. And I can't wait for October.
Me either. I'm definitely getting this day one.
Awesome. Well, any final thoughts, Brandon, or do you think we covered it?
I just wanted to harp on the badges a little more. Like, they're pretty great. Like, you can have so many different options with them, like that floating hat.
There's a lot.
That was a badge. You can do like a
the grapple one has me really excited.
The grapple is great. I thought the movement through the levels looked really cool. Like, you had the grapple, or you could do all kinds of different movement options, like a crouch, high jump. And then there's enemies as well. There's like these green enemies that hang down with these like strings you can grab onto. They got like hooks on the end, and you're just like swinging through the level almost like Donkey Kong on vines, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
The movement seemed really fast and fluid and a lot more fun than the older games, or at least the new Super Mario Brothers games.
That is an interesting observation. I will tell you that when I saw that, it kind of reminded me of Cuphead, because I've been playing Cuphead recently. And in Cuphead, as you progress in levels, you have the option to change around your weapon set between levels. And it's kind of like, you know, in Cuphead, you lose all the time, right? And typically in Mario games, the first half is fairly easy, but as you progress, there are more and more challenging levels. And it seems like that's still going to be the case this time around as well, because there are things you need to unlock by collecting more Wonder Seeds.
Right.
But what I'm kind of getting the sense here is that you're going to find challenge in some of these levels, and maybe with your current set, be it power-ups or badges, you don't quite have the solution with your current skill set. Then you switch it around a little bit, you strategize, you choose a different set, and you go in and you're able to do the level. And that's really cool, especially when you couple that with the new Dark Souls-like mechanic with the ghosts and being able to learn from other players. It seems like they're really paying attention to the platforming experience, and giving us a lot of options in terms of how we want to go about this. And I think that's really cool.
The replay value is increased too, because you can go in a level with a different badge, and that completely changes things. And the online as well. I also heard apparently there was a developer interview, and they said that there's just straight up going to be like different things that happen if you go into a level again. So the replay value in this game is going to be insane.
So there may be a bit of a randomness factor to the wonder effect, which it seems like they're going all in on that. I mean, it's literally the name of the game, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So yeah, I bet it's going to be wonderful. But I think that pretty much covers it for now. I think our general consensus is Mario Bros. Wonder is probably going to be the best 2D Mario game ever, and it's going to be great. But this is Andres Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you really soon. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.